Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and today we're breaking down the New York Jets linebackers. As you guys know, we have a series here on Jets Media where we break down each position group on the New York Jets in 2023. We broke down a lot of positions already, so if you guys want to check out previous videos, we broke down wide receivers, running backs, defensive line. That's linked down below in the description if you missed out on those videos. And today, we're breaking down the linebackers. Now, the linebackers is a very intriguing position group for the New York Jets. We are still hoping as a fan base that we re-sign a particular player in Kwon Alexander, who was a very pivotal piece to our linebacker unit last year. He is still a free agent as of recording this video, and he is not signed with any team. And I'm still hopeful that the Jets bring him back. But there's still other players that can replace Kwon Alexander, and we're going to be breaking that down because there is a chance that Kwon's not signed with the Jets this season. So we got to talk about who's the Kwon Alexander replacement. We got CJ Mosley as the starting Mike linebacker, who's the star. We got Quincy Williams back, but who's going to be that starting third linebacker? Let's break it down in this video. Before we break everything down, though, I do want to mention, guys, if you're just tuning into Jets Media for the first time, consider smashing that subscribe button. We got a lot of Jets content coming your way all throughout the rest of the offseason, and of course, carrying over into the NFL New York Jets 2023 season. If you guys enjoy this video, simply smash that thumbs up button. Really helps out the channel a ton. And also feel free to comment down below your thoughts of the New York Jets linebacker unit. Are you excited about this unit? Who are some hidden gems? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Now let's get straight into the linebackers. So these linebackers are interesting. CJ Mosley, the captain, who I still think is one of the most underappreciated players on this entire New York Jets team. I don't know why Jets fans continuously, not every Jets fan, but there are some Jets fans that just continuously trash and just don't appreciate the value that CJ Mosley brings to this team, and I'm going to be breaking that down in this one. We got Quincy Williams, who's coming off getting extended by the New York Jets, a 3-year contract. Very exciting because I think that he is going to get better and better. Jamien Sherwood and Hamsah Nasirldeen, the two players that we drafted 2 years ago, they're both entering year number 3. They got something to prove this year. And then we got the rookie Zaire Barnes, who is going to be an intriguing player to watch for in preseason and training camp. And then Chazz Surratt, who feels like been on this team since last year. And then another player in Claudin Cherelus, who is probably going to be fighting for a job in the preseason, maybe a practice squad guy, undrafted player. So let's get right into it. We're going to start off with CJ Mosley. Now, CJ Mosley, if you guys forgot, he made the Pro Bowl with this year, and he was also happened to be a second All-Pro for the New York Jets. And I'm here to tell you guys that without CJ Mosley, he might not be the flashy player. He might not be getting the sacks. He might not be getting the interceptions or the pass deflections or the hard hits, even though he does have some of those. He is the quarterback and the glue of this defense. It's Sauce Gardner, Quincy Williams as the two most important pieces in no particular order. But then the third most important piece to this defense, in my opinion, is CJ Mosley, because he is the quarterback. He is the communicator. He is a veteran presence in this locker room that holds everybody accountable. He is the captain. Everybody looks up to CJ Mosley. And more importantly, he's the guy that is communicating on the field the plays, making sure everybody's on the same page. And I don't think people understand how important communication is from a defensive perspective in the NFL. Every single player on defense needs to be on the same page of what exactly play we're running, what look is the offense giving us. What CJ Mosley is so good at that I respect is that his play recognition is off the charts. The study that he puts into his opponents, where he's studying all week, he knows the offensive tendencies that he's going up against, he sees a certain formation, he sees a certain motion, he knows exactly what's coming, and he's prepared for that moment, and he has great vision, great anticipation, great feel for the game. Now, is he maybe a step slow? Okay, you can argue that because he's not in his prime like he was with the Baltimore Ravens, but that's fine. I think that the speed with Quincy Williams makes up for maybe CJ Mosley losing a step. So CJ Mosley last year was, I think, 9th overall. So he's a top 10 tackler in the NFL. He was 9th in total tackles across the entire league. He gets his nose on the football. He's all over the place for the New York Jets defense in the middle. Now, there are some things that he's not great at, which is definitely coverage over the middle. I think a big weakness for this Jets defense is, defending tight ends and defending those running backs out of the backfield and getting beat with those crossing routes over the middle of the field. And that starts with the linebackers when you're playing those soft zones. And I think that he could be better in those categories. But I think CJ Mosley deserves more praise and deserves more respect from the Jets fan base, because I don't know where this defense is without him, because he is the guy that, again, lines everybody up. He holds his players accountable. He sets a standard across the rest of this team. And having a Mike linebacker as good as CJ Mosley is really freaking cool. Now, he actually was 6th in the entire NFL in solo tackles at 115. Really great stuff to see. His run defensive grade on PFF was 73.8. His coverage was 65.9. Overall was a 69.8. Just an overall quality football player that is a very important piece for this New York Jets defense. I'm excited to see what he can do. I honestly feel like, guys, when we gave him that 5-year mega contract, him missing 2 seasons is kind of benefiting the Jets today, right? He had that phenomenal game against the Buffalo Bills in his debut when he had a pick 6, fumble recovery, forced fumble in that first half, and then he ruptures his groin, doesn't come back. And then the year after that, he opts out due to COVID. And him opting out for COVID and him having 2 years not playing, I think is really helping his development, or not development, but helping his body, feel like it's young again. And I feel like he's fresh. He doesn't feel like an old man. He's 30-something years old. CJ Mosley's my captain. Salute to you, my man. I'm excited to see what he can do for the Jets this year. Now, Quincy Williams, we re-signed that man. Hopefully, we can extend his brother very, very soon. As I'm recording this, he's not been extended. But Quincy Williams, I'm so happy they brought back. I was worried they were going to let him walk in free agency, and the Jets were smart enough to not let that happen. Now, hopefully, they bring back Quan Alexander, but we'll hold that conversation off for a little later in the video. What Quincy Williams brings to the table that I love the most is he sets a standard. He sets a tone. He literally is the embodiment of a Robert Saleh football player. I feel like if Robert Saleh was a linebacker in the NFL, it would be a Quincy Williams style player. Just heat-seeking missile, energy, making big-time plays. And this is someone that kind of sets the tone for the game. Like in the first quarter, he'll lay a gigantic tackle for loss coming out of crazy nowhere. Boom, big-time hit. Whole defense is fired up, setting a standard for the energy, setting a standard for what this game is going to be like. And I think setting a tone early in games is important. Quincy Williams is also, which is really important as well, great at pass rush. Now, the Jets don't blitz a lot. They rely on that 4-man front to get to the quarterback. But when they do blitz Quincy Williams, he's highly effective. I think that Quincy Williams is going to be an effective player this year for the New York Jets. He had 4 sacks last year. I think he can get 5 or 6 sacks for the Jets this season. What Quincy Williams is the best at is he's a sideline-to-sideline linebacker with tremendous speed. The things that he needs to work on is definitely coverage, hands, and over-pursuing on tacklers, or over-pursuing on his tackles, not being in the right proper situation, getting juked out sometimes. But I think that Quincy Williams is getting better and better. Last year was his second year in the system. Honestly, last year was his technically first season having a whole offseason to learn the system. Because remember, his first year with the Jets, we claimed him in August before this first year with the New York Jets with Robert Saleh's scheme. And now he's entering year 3 with the scheme. I think things are going to slow down for Quincy Williams. I think that he's one of those players that plays at 110 miles per hour, and his mind and body just goes so fast. And I think this is the year where hopefully things slow down for him and he gets really good, because he is getting better and better. And the fact that the Jets got him for another 3 years is really great, because he's a developmental piece that's ready to play, ready to win. And CJ Mosley and Quincy Williams as a linebacker duo, I think is really good for what the New York Jets are trying to do this year on defense. Now, before we get into Sherwood, there's no Quan Alexander here. So, speaking of Quan, he's that third linebacker, that weak side linebacker that's missing. So who's going to be that replacement, hypothetically, if we don't bring in another player? Now, is it Jamien Sherwood? Jamien Sherwood is a player that's very intriguing, because I think that he can be that third linebacker. Personally, he's been developing behind CJ Mosley throughout his entire career with the New York Jets. Whenever Mosley goes down, he fills in for that Mike linebacker. But I do think that the New York Jets have been developing Jamien Sherwood to be a guy to be a starter in this league. Whenever Jamien Sherwood gets onto the football field, he makes plays. And I think that the Jets have been doing a good job developing him slowly and surely. And I think this could be the year where Sherwood could be the starting third linebacker for these New York Jets if we do not bring back Kwon Alexander. Now, I prefer they bring back Kwon. I want to make that sure. But Sherwood is a piece of this defense that I think could be, part of the puzzle. Next to CJ Mosley in certain packages on that dime look, or, certain packages, the Jets do like to have three linebackers on the field. And I think that Jamien Sherwood has been developing slowly and surely. And this is the year where he can potentially have a breakout campaign if his name is called. Hamsah Nasirldeen. Now, this is a player that we cut last year at the 53-man roster cuts in August, and the Jets were lucky enough to be able to re-sign him to the practice squad, and he's on the team this year. He's more of a special teams guy. He's a player that's I was really excited about when we drafted because I thought he had so much qualities to his game that would be really fun if they developed him properly. But Nasirldeen hasn't really panned out developmental-wise that I would like. So Nasirldeen is a guy that probably won't make the 53 because I think Zaire Barnes is coming for Nasirldeen's spot this year. Zaire Barnes, the rookie that we got, I think that he's a player that is going to fight for that Kwon Alexander's role. He's a perfect piece to that Kwon Alexander linebacker spot where you're freakishly athletic, sideline to sideline, smart, fast, being able to blitz the quarterback, good against the run. I think Barnes is the X factor, or is that dark horse to compete for that starting linebacker role in certain packages. So look out for Barnes competing for that. Chazz Surratt. Don't really expect anything from him this year. Probably a practice squad player, probably getting cut. And then Claudin, another guy I'm not really expecting anything crazy from, if we're just being honest. But yeah, guys, that's the linebacker unit for the New York Jets. I think CJ Mosley is a player that Jets fans, and I'm sure some people in the comments will disagree with me, and that's completely fine. That's what this is all about, is a guy that we need to start putting more respect behind. Quincy Williams has some ups, has some downs, but I think his highs really are big time, and I think that he needs to fix not over pursuing on certain tacklers, not getting ahead of himself, and not just being someone that, over commits on certain plays. That's his issue. And I also want to see both CJ and Quincy clean up the coverage, because the coverage is really important for this Jets defense over the middle. We've been getting killed over the middle at certain aspects of this defense, and that needs to be fixed. And then without Kwon Alexander, man, we got Jamien Sherwood potentially competing for that, Zaire Barnes potentially competing for that. Hamsah Nasirldeen obviously has something to say about it. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section if you about the New York Jets linebackers. I think this is a very intriguing unit for the New York Jets. Definitely not the strongest of the Jets defense. I think you can argue the linebackers and safeties are the weakest link of this New York Jets team. But outside of those, we don't got a weakness. We don't. Defensive line, elite. Corners, elite. Offensive line looking pretty darn good. Wide receivers looking good. Tight ends, I like it. Running backs, yeah. Quarterback, oh yeah. So yeah, okay. Out of every position, the two positions that are weakest are linebackers and safeties. You can sign me up for that any day of the week. Folks, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. Comment down below your thoughts of the New York Jets linebackers heading into 2023. I appreciate you guys. Also, comment a Jet emoji if you stayed all the way to the end. Catch you guys next time. Let's go, Jets. Peace.